Welcome back. Welcome back to another Beeline to Passports, and welcome to the sixth season of this show here in GKI Radio. My name is Joe Batista. I'm your host, and tonight we have a special guest. This gentleman beside me, he is an actor, and he starred recently in the modeling industry. His name Bjorn Backman.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to Beeline to Passports.
Thank you.
And thank you for accepting the invitation. And like we ask every week, we ask our guests how everything started. Let us know your childhood, your education, when you start in this wonderful world of the entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. Where to begin? Well, I guess I'll begin at the beginning. I grew up in Norway. That's where it all started,
Okay.
back in Europe, all the way on top by the North Pole. Quite the contrast to here,
Okay.
obviously. That's where all my family is. And I have been here now for, I think, about 10 years in the US.
Wow.
I'm the only one here.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone else is back home. We're close, just not physically close, but we talk every week and we stay close and we keep in touch. I feel actually almost ironically, we've gotten closer, I would say, after I moved in a way, because it's something about how, when it's kind of like you appreciate what you don't have in a way.
Okay.
You
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So that's how I felt. So it's kind of been like a blessing in disguise. Although we're not as close, we kind of appreciate the relationship more. So, I grew up in a small town in the rural countryside area of Norway.
Wow.
7,000 people.
Only that?
Yeah, 7,000. That's it.
Oh, wow.
Everybody knows everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody knows everything about everybody. It's great. Yeah.
But the hard part is there, how you gonna get, girlfriends?
You can't. Like, everybody's dated your ex, and everybody's
Exactly.
ex.
Exactly.
So, that's interesting. Of course, it's hard to avoid things like that when you grow up in a small town. It has its charm as well, because everybody knows everybody. So that can be good or bad.
Correct.
There's different sides to that, of course. But so yeah. Anyway, it was a big contrast for me, of course, coming from that to here.
Yes.
Because growing up, again, like I lived in that small town for most of my life before I came here. I'd say at least 23, 24 years.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, it was quite a bit, and it was great. I enjoyed it. It had a charm to it. A lot of friendly, great people. Beautiful town. Anyone listening, you should definitely go visit. It's like a miniature version, I would say, of Colorado. It's very outdoorsy. A lot of climbing, hiking, skiing, biking, outdoor activity opportunities there.
Okay.
So I definitely
Great.
recommend it. If anyone goes to Norway, check out. It's called Oppdal.
Oppdal.
Oppdal. It literally translates to Upper Valley.
Upper Valley.
Yeah.
Oppdal. Okay.
That's it. So that's where I grew up, and that's where some of my family, my mom's side of the family is still in that town, and my dad's side of the family is in a city a couple of hours away. Because, as I always like to joke around and say, my parents are still married, just not to each other.
Okay.
So I got a big family. They're spread out.
Yes.
Sisters here, brothers there. I got one younger brother, 3 sisters. One is older, 2 is younger. A couple of stepsisters, a stepbrother. So yeah, I've been blessed with a huge family. So I'm grateful for that. 4 nieces, 1 nephew. No kids, to my knowledge. So there's that.
Well, with 7,000 people, you will know already.
You would think so, right? You would think so.
It's
hard to escape it.
And today's day, with the internet and the communication, you will know that right away.
Absolutely, yeah. So
they send you they see you on Instagram and they send you a DM. Hey, this is your boy, or this is your child.
Blocked? No, just kidding. No. I'm pretty certain that I do not have any children. I don't even, speaking of, 2 of my sisters has kids, and they're great. I love them to death, and I love being an uncle and all that. But I'm not sure. Like, I'm 35 now, and I always questioned, do I want kids? Do I not want kids? And I think part of it is maybe because I haven't met the right person yet also that I want to have kids with. That could be part of the reason, because up until this point, I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't necessarily have that urge to have children. But again, like I'm open to it. If I meet somebody who's like, oh wow, this person's amazing, then I'd be open to it. But at this point, I'm just doing my own thing and trying to grow as a person and work on myself and
Yes.
until whatever happens happens. So that's a little bit about where I grew up. I mean, I could always expand on that, or
And you move over here, but I know you started with I seen you and work with you also
yes.
on projects. But the entertainment industry, where you started? You started over there in
No,
Norway,
I
or
didn't.
when you came here to the US?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a crazy way how it all happened, really, because I wasn't planning on doing any of this. I
Okay.
didn't do any of this back home. I think I might have wanted to
Okay.
at some point, but there's something about when you grow up in a small town and you're not surrounded by that type of industry.
Yes.
There's no artists around you. Like you grow up in a small town where most people are,
Gardener,
farmers, workers, yeah,
farmers.
things like
Yes.
that, and which is cool. But there wasn't any room for artistic growth, I felt. So it didn't feel natural for me to like pursue it because I didn't know anyone who's done it. It didn't feel realistic.
Okay.
So then, as fate would have it, what happened to me was I came here because I think I saw a poster one time that someone had put up for, and it wasn't acting related at all. It was just a poster for the Disney program
Okay.
that they have at Epcot. Because at Epcot, you got to be from the countries to work for the countries.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
So they put those posters up where they said, "Hey, come work for Disney for a year. It'll be great. We're doing interviews twice a year in Oslo, in the capital."
Okay.
So I saw that. I think I was like 17, 18 the first time I saw that poster. And then I thought it looked cool. But me having grown up and lived in that small town most of my life, I didn't feel like I was ready for it, to take a big leap out in the world. So I just made up excuses for myself and I kind of forgot about it until I saw that poster again come up or something online, whatever, 3-4 years later. I was like, wow, this would be really interesting. It would be a nice way to get out and like see the world or whatever.
Correct.
So at that time, I applied. I went back and forth about it, but eventually I took that phone call to the recruiters and set up an appointment. Went to Oslo, and the Disney people, they interview you and they ask, to see if you're a good candidate to represent your country for
Okay.
Disney World here in Orlando. And eventually they came to the decision that I was. So then, the rest was all just, formalities, setting up the travel and the visa appointments and all of that. Long story short, I ended up here in 2013, my first time in the US, first time in America. And that was supposed to be a 1-year program. That's
Okay.
what they do. They put you up for 1 year.
1 year,
and,
yes.
And that's it. And then I worked in the Norway Pavilion and in the merchandise section. And that's basically what you did and represented your country, talked about Norway to everyone who came through. So technically your job was to sell merchandise, but your role was to represent your country.
Yes. Yes.
So that's what we're doing. That was a great experience. I loved it. And then as that year was about to end, I realized, oh, I like this. Like I would like to stay here and keep being here and such and such. So to sum it up, basically after that, I decided to go to school. I decided to go for hospitality management.
Okay.
Because I've worked in hotels and Disney and I was good with people and things like that. So it felt natural to study hospitality management. I didn't even really want to study in the first place, but my girlfriend at the time, she suggested that, school would be a good option because then we could keep working on our relationship together as partners. Because, I wasn't ready to like settle down and get married or anything at that time. So I was 24.
Let me ask you, she was an American?
She was American, yeah.
That's why she wanted to hold you here
Probably.
in the US.
It could have been. So, that probably would have happened at some point if we kept on dating. But, at that point, I was 24 at the point. That wasn't even like a thing in my mind because I was like, I was still young and wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So I knew I wanted to be with her, though, at the time. So we figured out eventually that studying maybe was the best option.
Yeah.
So eventually that's what we did. I started going to Valencia and I got my hospitality degree there. And then I suppose that's what leads me into the acting aspect, because as I finished my associate's degree and I worked at a couple of hotels after that as part of my my degree seeking journey, I realized as I was going to continue with my bachelor at Rosen, the hospitality college
Okay.
of
Yes.
UCF, to finish my 4 year degree, I was like, this doesn't feel right. It kind of like felt like I was just studying to stay,
Mm-hmm.
or staying to study, or one of those. Yeah, I was justifying studying so that I could stay in the country, and it didn't feel right at the point because I didn't have the urge or the love or the passion necessarily as much for the industry as I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I was like, okay, well, what else can I do? What else do I like? And I wasn't really sure because I hadn't really done anything else in my life, so I was kind of lost until my best friend Jesse Ehrenberg saved me. He's a guy I work with him. I met him in a coffee shop at Valencia, and we worked together, and we became good friends. And at some point, I mentioned to him like, "Hey, I think maybe it would be cool to try this acting thing, to maybe take a class or something." But I felt stupid even saying that because it was so far fetched in my mind. Because I
Correct.
didn't know anyone who's done it. I didn't know how it worked.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost embarrassing just even mentioning it because I didn't know how I was going to react. But he was like, "Oh yeah, that's just kind of like." Um, Said that who doesn't, like everyone's an actor, and kind of just brushed it off and didn't really talk about it anymore until like maybe a couple of weeks later. And then I think he came across a Groupon or something for an
Mm-hmm.
acting class
Okay.
here in Orlando. And at that point I still had conditioned myself to make excuses for why I didn't want to do this
Mm-hmm.
because it felt so scary, like such a big leap. So I was like, yeah, maybe we'll try it out. Maybe we'll like down the road, we'll see. But he kept pushing me like, oh, we should go. So eventually we signed up for the class. And I think to this day, like going to that first acting class, probably like the scariest, yet also the most, uh, how do you say, not just scary, but empowering thing
Mm-hmm.
that I've ever done. Because sometimes the things that scare you the most are also what sets you free the most in a way. Because then
Correct.
you learn what you're capable of.
Yes.
So long story short, went to that class, and after that, there was no way back. I loved it. I was like, I think this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. It's scary, but it pushes me in ways that I hadn't really felt anything I'd done before. So at that point, we kept taking classes, and I decided that I wanted to go all in. So instead of going to the hospitality college at UCF, I was like, oh wait, what if I can study acting instead? Since I'm brand
Okay.
new to this, that would be great because then I would be able to stay in school and I would be able to pursue something and learn about something like 100% all in every day in class. And that'd be a great way to start since at that point I was 29 years old. I was like, most people start younger. So I was like, this would be a great way to kickstart this whole thing and learn about this whole industry
Yes.
through this rigorous program.
Mm-hmm.
So I applied for the Bachelor in Fine Arts theater program at UCF. And little did I know, and it's probably a good thing that I didn't know this until later, that they apparently only accepted 16 people
Mhm.
once a year into their program.
Wow.
Yeah. And I learned about that after I started, which was funny because I eventually got accepted. And I don't know, I try to stay humble and say that maybe they just needed someone who could, I don't know, play older characters because most people were straight out of high school when they got
Yes.
accepted. And then it was me, it was like 30 at the time. So I auditioned online, I auditioned in person. I had to go back a couple of times and they had to pull me back in and be like, yeah. So I think I barely made it in, but I did. And I'm so happy that they took a chance on me because after I got in, then I got to learn everything about the industry, theater. They kind of like to make you a triple threat. They want to teach you how to dance, to sing, to analyze scripts, everything. Basically,
Everything.
the whole thing, because they want to make you ready for the real world when you're done. So fast forward 4 years later, graduated, which was last year, and now I'm just trying to pursue it full time, and that's how I get to meet other people in the industry. That's how this happened. You meet
That's
people,
right.
you interact with people, and now it's just I'm trying to make sure that I take every opportunity that comes to me, be it commercial, film, TV, acting classes. I'm just trying to soak up as much information as I can about the industry,
Correct.
to learn as much as I can, because that I think will put you in a better place of success.
But let me tell you, you've been doing it great because how I seen, you did that transition. You decide to do that transition from the hospitality management and say, okay, let me pursue this. But basically, it was a calling. You have that calling because going back of what you said in your country, you saw something that was the hook to be in the US.
Hmm.
Because if you were, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna stay here in my country, you're probably gonna be in your country and you're gonna be doing what your parents, grandparents, and all your family been doing, probably being farmer in that circle.
Yeah.
But you see something, and that was the hook to come to the US and say, okay, let me try, let me move to this, come to the US. First of all, 7,000 to
More, yeah, at
300,000
least.
people at least in one city. That is a contrast.
Very big contrast. Yeah.
As soon you come to that country, they're like, okay, wait. I can imagine you with the first couple weeks seeing the traffic. Then you start walking and people basically push you walking,
Yeah.
and okay, and also the culture.
Mm.
There are some people, they are very polite, but they have people that are very rude. And you probably were like, okay, wait, this is completely different. Let me try to see. And I can imagine, I come from Puerto Rico.
Mhm.
And when I came here, I've been here 25 years. Um, I see the contrast. When I moved here, I never traveled to the US before.
Mm.
I went to other countries, but never to the US.
Interesting.
When I came to the US with a contract, working for Disney as well.
Oh,
I don't know. Most people, when they come,
I guess that's the way to
say
do it.
this Disney. You need to work for Disney at least couple years.
Yeah.
When you come to the Orlando area. When I came here, I noticed that. Wow, this is completely different. This is something. I'm from San Juan, that is the capital. Used to live in the west side of the island, but when I came here, noticed the contrast. Like, wow, wait, this is not a metropolis,
Mm.
but it's turning to a metropolis because when you go to Miami, that's another world.
Yeah.
And you going to New York, that's another
It's a
world,
whole different thing.
completely different. But it's basically how you will, when you move from your country and you move in over here, they basically create that environment. But let's take this first commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to continue talking about that transition and also the projects that you've been working in the past and areas that you want to achieve. But let's take this first commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of Mr. Bjorn Backman here in Beeline to Passports on GKI Radio. We are back. We are back from commercial break. Great music, and you're listening GKI Radio. This is Beeline to Passports, your show, and my name is Joe Batista. I'm your host, and we are on the sixth season of the show. And thank you, people, for this opportunity to be in our sixth season of the show. And tonight we have an actor and model. He is Mr. Bjorn Backman. Bjorn, we talked in the first segment how that transition moving from Norway to the US and to the Orlando with the opportunity working for a mega corporation that is Walt Disney World.
Mm.
Now you are basically on the unemployment side, an actor.
Yeah.
we
There you
always
go, pretty much.
it is that I have many actors and actresses that come here. We tease about that because they are professional and basically
But it's
when
the passion,
it
you don't
is
mind it because you love it so much that you're willing to go a week without work because you love it so much and you won't do anything else. So that's
is
the beauty of it in a weird,
but
twisted way.
but talking with some of the people that has been in our show, they said it's hard, but the hardest part is getting the auditions.
Delusions?
Auditions.
Oh, auditions, yes.
When you get booked after that, easy peasy.
Yes.
Because you're just learning your side,
That is true.
the script, and do your best.
Mm.
But getting that opportunity is the hardest part
Yep.
because sometimes, and we always said, sometimes to get an audition is no, or get a work or a project in this industry, you need to submit auditions minimum
Mm.
10 a day.
Yeah.
That's a
You understand.
minimum.
It's a full-time job, just auditioning.
And sending and submitting and submitting and
Yep.
submitting and submitting. And sometimes people think that, well, with the internet, yeah, that's the worst part because you submitting, but they ask you for picture, resume, reels. They ask you for, okay, we're going to do a live audition. Connect this day on a Google Meet or any of those platforms and they want you to do this script that they just send you, and then you need to do it like 3 or 4 times.
Mm. Yeah.
Then they see with the casting director, they see okay, this person can fit on this project,
Mhm.
but it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard, and you submit until the point that you get busy and you start okay.
Yeah.
That's the value.
Yes.
That's the value. Um, Now, project that you've been working in the last year. I know you've been doing a lot of the OIF, Orlando Independent Filmmakers projects,
Mm.
and tell us about these projects with the OIF.
Yeah. So OIF, Orlando Independent Filmmakers, that's something that I've been extremely lucky to come across and to find because they're doing great work. Both Lenny and Sevilla Larusso, they're amazing. I think they are much of the reason why I was able to so easily become enter the film world here because I didn't know it was so overwhelming in the beginning. After just taking a couple of acting classes, of course, the next step was okay. Like, what's next? How do I get involved in doing like film and TV? Like, how do people do that? So then I think I was a member of that group on Facebook, OF group, with all the members and stuff for a long time, and I was just watching everything that came in and stuff for a long time before I
You
even decided to like
step
think that I
step
can
in.
step in and be like notice and make myself notice and be like, how does this work? Because I was so I think overwhelmed by the thought of because I was seeing everybody in that group and I thought everybody's done it for so long and I kept glorifying everybody else and that's a big that's an easy trap to fall into. I think when you start putting people on pedestals and you
Yes.
think because there's a quote that I like: when you put people on a pedestal, you're forcing them to look down on you.
Yes.
And that's not good for your self-image, your confidence, or nothing. So I had to learn to kind of like stop doing that because when you think that everyone else is better than you, it's going to be very hard for yourself to improve and get to where they are.
Mhm.
So you have to treat everyone else equal, basically, not for them, but also for yourself. So that's what I found was necessary. And so eventually, I think that maybe there was a meetup or something that they had. I think at one of the local restaurants or something, they would have local meetups. I think I went to one of those. Still super nervous because I didn't know anything about the industry, didn't know anyone there. So I went there, I think, with a friend or something. Maybe I think I don't remember who it was, but yeah, I went to one of those and I was just mingling with people, talking to them, and I was kind of embarrassed because I didn't have anything to talk about. I was
Hmm.
like, people were talking about their films and what's next, and I was like, well, this is my first one. I've never been here before. I don't know anything about movies. So it was like, this imposter syndrome kind of kicked in. Like, who am I to be here? I shouldn't even be in this place. So, but I made some friends and I talked to some people and that helped. That was good. And eventually, by doing that, you get yourself noticed. And I think after that, someone that I met there, I think, asked me if I wanted to be, I don't know, just being like an extra, like something in
Hmm.
one of their short films for the challenge.
Okay.
And it seems so small and insignificant, but that's almost like the catalyst for me for everything else that follows, because you have to start there
Yeah,
to
you need
get
to start
elsewhere.
somewhere. Yeah.
So then you get on set, which I did, and you learn, okay, first time in front of a camera, that's where it begins. It was super weird, but that's what I did, and didn't have any lines, but just being around it and
Yes.
the people and the environment, it creates a shift in mindset. I
Hmm.
feel like, where you start feeling like you belong and that you can do this. So slowly but surely, I started thinking like, oh, well, these are doing that. These people are doing this, and now I'm here. And as I talked about earlier, it was so hard when I was younger in my hometown because I was never surrounded by people with that mindset. So if
Yes.
you told someone in my hometown that, oh, I want to be an actor, nobody could relate to what you were saying. They would be like, "What? Like, yeah, I mean that's nice, but come on, be realistic." So nobody
Correct.
encouraged it, understandably so, because there wasn't any room to do so, and nobody else really knew how to do it either.
Hmm.
So, and that was part of it when I came here and surrounded myself with other people. That was a big moment where I was like, "Oh wait, they're doing it,
Yeah.
and they're right here around me." Like, so it seems so much closer now,
Correct.
and
Correct.
that was a big part of it for me. So basically, to answer your question about the whole OIF thing, that extra role kind of catalyzed and created more opportunities where I was like, okay, now I know these people, and through these people, I meet these people, and now I can apply for this role. Oh, they're casting something else. Let me see if I can get a small. And then, of course, it just snowballs.
Correct.
And I got to get involved in more and more projects. And then I got to know Lenny and Sevilla, which are now good, close friends of mine as well. And through them, we did some projects, and they've been great as well as far as to my engagement with us, because everyone was they were so welcoming and understanding, and it's so easy to become a part of it. It seems overwhelming at first, but then when you realize everyone's there to learn and to
Hmm.
create and to fail and to just get
And
better
and practice
and
and getting
practice.
better on that craft.
Exactly. And as soon as I learned that, it became a lot easier and less stressful to do it all. So now, I've been going to a lot of their events, networking events, helping out, hosting, doing the short films, even being nominated every now and then for best actor and stuff like that, which is great. So yes, long story short, OIF has been a tremendous, and still is a tremendous part of my career as an actor and my learning curve as an actor, and I hope it will continue to be so for a long while, because I can see even now with the short films, every challenge, everyone and everything keeps getting better and better, and that's the whole idea of it. I think
Yes,
that you
raising that
improve.
bar.
Yeah,
Yes.
really, absolutely. And I think what's nice about it in such a small community is that everyone has a chance to, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be a PA, if you want to be a gaffer, if you want to be a director, like the writer, there's opportunity for you to do so in a safe space without being judged for it.
Correct.
And that's what I like about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and
Yeah.
let me tell you, this OIF project, let me call it a project. It started with eight people,
Yeah, on Craigslist, right?
and then they have over 3,000 people at this moment. Over,
Yeah.
and recently they opened TIF,
They
the
did.
Tampa Independent Filmmakers. Then they have the first challenge, and they're gonna be on Tampa, on AMC in Tampa, for the first time of with the first challenge, the Genesis,
The Genesis Challenge. Yeah.
and that is amazing
It is.
because I remember when I started getting involved with OIF, um, because the clients for the Celera Media Group, there were a couple people involved with OIF, and I started going to the events and I started meeting people there, and I started getting opportunities, and as well in front and behind the camera, being in this industry over 35 years,
Yeah.
and I that's why I started seeing the growth of the group.
Mm.
And there was people driving from St. Pete. Then it's about 2.5 hours just to participate in short films for Orlando independent filmmakers.
Yeah.
Or people from Sarasota
Mm-hmm.
driving to Orlando to participate. That now they also gonna have another avenue that is the TIF, to show and participate and growth.
Mm-hmm.
That is the important thing in their careers, because every time that you participate in a short film or a feature film or any project, you receive the opportunity, but also you receive an IMDb credit.
Yeah.
And that IMDb credit is used for your resume.
Yeah.
You're building your resume in this industry.
That's right.
That is amazing.
It is. It's really great, actually.
Well, let's take another short commercial break, and we're gonna go on the next segment. We're gonna talk about what you're doing right now, what projects you are, the ones that you can sell, because we're gonna talk about the ones that we don't supposed to sell as well. But we're gonna take this short commercial break, but remember, people, to drop a comment or question if you would like to hear them in our show. Um, the phone number is 407-476-9059. Remember to say my name, Joe Batista, following by your name and your comment or question. And you could also hear here in Beeline to Passports on GKI Radio. We are back. We are back from commercial break. You're listening GKI Radio and your show Beeline to Passports. And tonight we have this special guest, and he is a model and an actor. His name is Bjorn Backman. And Mr. Bjorn Backman, he is from, let's say, for far, far, far away, because it's
Norway.
it's
Norwega.
basically close to
It's close to the North Pole.
North Pole. That
I mean, I like
basically
to
is
joke around and
cold.
say that. Yeah,
Okay.
it is cold. Actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think the North Pole is just above us.
Oh
So
wow.
it's basically
And Santa Claus, you see, wave Santa Claus every day when they building
yeah.
the toys.
They
Okay.
they they he is a very large presence there. You have the prime minister,
Yes.
and you have the king, and
Yes.
you have Santa Claus.
That wow. Wow.
So there you
Awesome.
go.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome.
but it's beautiful. It's such a small country. We're only 5 million people. That's it in the entire country. I like to say
Wow.
quality over quantity. So there you have it.
Imagine in Puerto Rico they have 3.2 million right now. They used to be 3.5.
Mm. Well, what happened to the other 200,000?
Well, we have a
They came here.
4 million in the US.
Oh, Puerto Ricans.
Puerto
They came here,
Rican
yeah.
because
Well, I
they
mean, it's part of the U.S. though, right?
we
But it's
born
a
over
territory.
yes,
Yeah.
we born over there, but we moved over here.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's the thing. But they have probably we have probably about 5 million now
Yeah.
because people they live over there for example until they complete college or high school and they decide okay let's go to the US because they have better opportunities
Right.
here in the US included saying I remember when you were mentioned stay in my hometown probably cannot have some opportunities
Yeah.
happen in Puerto Rico when the people get for example a degree as an engineer.
Mm.
NASA goes over there and recruit them and take it and bring it here,
What do they?
Florida, or take it to California or to Texas.
Okay.
They have that
That's
opportunities.
yeah.
Same thing with great actors and actresses. You know, Lee Manuel. Then he have one of the
Oh yes, that's right.
new, beautiful things. Now the most recent, the Blue Beetle. The Blue Beetle is
The Blue Beetle.
the Blue Beetle. The director is from Puerto Rico.
Is he?
Yes,
Interesting.
most of the film was done in Puerto Rico.
I didn't know that.
They did it. You say half of the film
Yeah.
was done in Puerto Rico, and the rest was done here in the U.S.
That's amazing.
And but the guy is from Puerto Rico. Yes,
Huh.
yeah,
Speaking of film shot in Puerto Rico, wasn't the only thing that comes to mind. Didn't they shoot that epic ending scene of Goldeneye in Puerto Rico?
yes,
Yes, up on the what is it called? The area.
That used to,
the name of it.
that
The
used
satellite
to,
station or whatever.
yeah, that used to be the in Arecibo. Unfortunately,
They
with the
closed it down or
years,
something, I read.
they
Because
shut
that's
it
true. They
down.
had some partnership with UCF. I remember
Yes,
that.
yes. It was at the telescope, and then when they, unfortunately, with the years, and the people didn't take care, the area
Yeah.
got destroyed, and unfortunately was done. But yes, that
Lives
one,
on forever in the movie, though. Lives on
yes,
forever in the movie.
yes.
That was a great scene.
That was done. That movie was done. The Fantasy Island, the most recent series where Rosalind Sanchez, then also is from Puerto Rico,
Interesting.
is filmed over there.
Okay.
The Fantasy Island, and you can see in Hulu,
Yeah.
and also I believe it's NBC or ABC, one of those. Um, that is done in Puerto Rico.
That's amazing.
Very interesting and very interesting.
Speaking of the last, did you see the last? I don't know if you've seen the last Mission Impossible movie.
Yes.
The epic scene where he goes on the motorbike out and the parachute down the mountain.
Uh-huh.
That's in Norway.
You see?
Yeah, there you go.
You see, now they're starting recruiting,
Yeah,
actors from
that's
Norway.
right. It all comes together.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
They have one, the Fast and Furious. I don't remember if it was number 5 or number 4. There was a scene that was on the bridge. Then these people that were racing with a basically a bolt from the bank. That was done in Puerto Rico.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The industry is so wonderful right now. Is being open.
Yeah.
The government over there, they're being open the doors to film a lot of great movies in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Karate Kid, the one that the series in Netflix. In one of the season, they filmed several days in the island.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
That's amazing. That's
They
good to
put
know.
that was in Mexico, or they put that was in Cuba, but they used Puerto Rico because when you go to the Caribbean specifically, being here in Florida, if you go to San Agustin,
Yep.
you see the fort, and all. When you go to Dominican Republic, you're going to Cuba, you're going to Puerto Rico, you're gonna see that because the Spaniards, when they were in the Caribbean, basically taking the money from gold
Mm.
and all this stuff, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
They basically need to build a fort because now the France community, they want the same thing. They want the gold, they want the slave, and there were fights a lot of time. That's why when you go to San Agustin, in front of the fort, it's called Bahia Matanzas. Bahia Matanzas in Spanish, that's the word in Spanish, mean death bay,
That Bay.
because there were a fight between
Badass.
the Spaniards
Yeah.
and France to try to capture that area.
Mm.
And
History lesson. I didn't know that.
same thing with when you go to Dominican Republic. In Dominican Republic, then it's called La Hispaniola because it's two countries in one island.
Yeah.
Haiti in one side and Dominican Republic in the other. Haiti, there was the France, and in the other side, Dominican Republic was the Spaniards.
Hmm.
But they want to have all.
Yeah, of course.
They divide. Okay, you take that, we take this.
So that's how they got
Divided.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, there you have it.
But that is, the story about how they use certain monuments, because basically it's a monument, the forts over there,
Yeah.
and preserved by the federal government. Then they use it for some films as well. The Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah. Yeah. They did some of that there. Yeah.
they use that kind of, okay, this is, we can use this area, the fight. The movie, then oh my god, Black Panther,
Yes.
the most recent Black Panther,
I didn't
some
know.
of the seven scenes, the biggest ones in the film, that was done in Puerto Rico.
Oh, was it? I
Yeah.
only saw the first one. Yeah.
But on the Black Panther, the most recent, they use a lot of the area because we have in Puerto Rico, they have a forest, but that forest in one side of the island is a wet forest, but on the south of the island is a dry forest.
Hmm.
Is
So
one
like
of
a
the
swamp on the west side.
in the northeast side. Northeast side, it basically all the beautiful trees, all green. But when you go to the south area, it's all dry.
Why is that?
Mother
Just
Nature.
Yeah.
Mother Nature. She decided, okay, they make a division here, and from here there, they're gonna be wet. From here there, they're gonna
Is
be
it because
dry.
of all the natural disasters that has hit the
No,
island as well? No.
no. It's been natural
like that
for
for a
many,
while?
many years like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yes, it dry forest in the island.
Oh.
Talking about the movies and all these projects, are the most recent project that you have been involved that you can say to the world?
Sure. Well, I don't think I have anything that I can't be disclosed as of right now, because there's also, I know there's less opportunities right now as far as big films are considered because of like the strike and everything.
Correct.
So lately, and still ongoing, there's been a lot of commercial work.
Yes.
I did one recently, as recent as yesterday in Sarasota, as we mentioned, for a boat company. So that was interesting. We were out on the boat, swinging some fishing poles and stuff, and that was a nice quick little photo shoot. So I can appreciate those. Although it's interesting because this is like a different aspect of the industry. Like it's you're on camera. It's more. I feel like it's almost sometimes a lot of these commercials are almost tailored. It's always more modeling than it is acting because a lot
Yes.
of these commercials they're just taking pictures of you and you're
Correct.
standing there doing something, holding something, promoting a product,
Correct.
and you're not necessarily using lines. Sometimes there's body language, of course,
Hmm.
but it's a different, easier in some ways, I will say, art form than of course doing film, unless you're, as I said, doing a commercial where you're interacting with other people and you're feeding each other lines and such and such. But for the most part lately, there's been a lot of non-union local commercials, which has included a bunch of still shots and such, which has also been a great way to meet people in the industry
Hmm.
and connect with people and meet other actors as
Yes.
well. I think I'm supposed to work on there's a short film, I think this weekend actually, we're doing some fight choreography for an upcoming short film. I'm not sure if this is through OAF or not, but it's a Star Wars fan film that we're going to
Okay.
be doing. Yeah, and we're going to do some fight choreography and stuff for that, which I think can be interesting because I'm a little rusty. Because back in Norway, I did martial arts for 12 years. I did taekwondo, so I got my black belt in that. So I'm trying to
Okay.
keep up with it, and that's going to come in handy with the acting as well,
Nice.
because you have that. I don't have any formal stunt training. I've taken a couple of classes as well as my stage combat certification, which I got from UCF. So that has also been helpful. But that is something that I also want to explore more so that I
Hmm.
can make myself, more marketable,
Yes.
knowing how to take falls and punches and things like that.
Jump from the roof.
Yeah, things like that. It can come in handy. I know they usually sometimes use stuntmen for that as well, but I think it's good always to have a foundation of the
Yes.
basics as well. So other than that, yeah, we're doing that this weekend, and I think there's a couple of I know there's a couple of other short films and feature films that I've worked on that I'm not even sure. I lose track sometimes. I'm not even sure if they're out or not yet. I just recently, not too long actually, I've been slacking. I signed up for like an IMDb Pro so I can
Hmm.
like organize all my credits and put my picture up and everything and use that as a marketing tool, as we talked about, in order to promote myself and my thing, because I feel like that's a huge part of this. It's who you know, and your network is your net worth, so to
Yes.
speak.
Yes.
And if you're able to, if you have the right materials, if you have your headshots updated, you have your resume, you have your reel, you have your footage, uh, then it's kind of like that saying. It's if you're always ready, you don't have to. If you always stay ready, you don't have to get ready, because
Exactly.
you never know when an opportunity. If someone comes to you tomorrow and say, "Hey, we want you in this feature film. What you got?" And if you don't have anything to show, then it's like, well, because you never know when someone's going to come to you. So if you're always ready and prepared, then it's kind of like how they say that luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yes.
So I think the bottom line is I try to stay on top of things and stay on top of my training, because you can always train and be better and improve yourself,
Correct.
and become a better actor, be it taking classes for, there's so many different things. There's so many options out there. If you want to just study lines, write a monologue, and you can do it with your friends. It
Hmm.
doesn't even have to be this big thing. It can be read lines, go over a script with a friend, ask yourself, what does this mean? What does this like? And try to put yourself in the scene and just play with it and have fun with it. I think
Correct.
is a big aspect of it, because if you start making it into, oh, this is work, this is like, now I have to do this again. If you lose the passion for it, I feel it's easy to give up, because this industry is hard enough as it is. You keep
Hmm.
getting rejected and rejected 99 times out of 100.
And the
So,
hours.
oh yeah, absolutely.
It's not. I have Miss Daniel Bowman here,
Yes, she's great.
and we were talking about the hours. That is not. And this is a 8 to 5.
No, it's a
Sometimes
25/7.
exactly. You work at midnight until the next day, whatever time
There's deadline.
they said, "Hey, you're wrapped. You can go home."
Yeah.
Or you can work basically 3 in the morning or 6 p.m. It's not in a specific hour to start, but it's not also 8 hours. They
That's
can
right.
be 12 hours. They can be 16 hours. All
Don't
depend.
stop when you're tired. Stop
Correct.
when you're
Correct.
done.
And you need to be healthy.
Oh yeah, you have to maintain. You have to take care of yourself. Absolutely, it's important. It is important to get enough rest and to eat when you can and stuff like that, and don't let yourself go. I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, no matter what you do, but especially I feel in this field because there's such a mental toll. As
correct.
well, you know?
Correct. And in other shows, we'll talk about, and I always bring this one, then you need to be ready in three areas: mental, physical, and also emotional.
Absolutely.
Because the
Especially the
rejection,
last one. Yeah.
the rejection, people you get like, down, and
That's why so many people quit. Take it
correct,
personally.
correct. And on sales, when you do sales, they said 10. You're basically gonna submit for 10 projects. I always use the word, the number 10. From that 10 projects, they might be 5. They're gonna look your information. 3, they might get interest,
Mm.
and 1 gonna give you the opportunity.
Exactly.
It's a numbers game.
But you have to go through those 10 to get that one.
Correct.
That's the thing.
Correct. And doesn't matter what, you need to continue submitting, and doing the process
Yes.
every single time.
You have to.
Because it's not.
So you audition 100 times, and if you only get one of those, people are gonna see that, and nobody gonna remember see your failures. They're gonna see the success and be like, "Wow, that's amazing! How'd you do that?" They're never gonna know about those 99 you didn't get.
Correct.
Nobody knows about the failures, and that's the tough thing about it.
They
only see the
you,
highlights.
only you when you
Only
say
you.
you have basically a chalkboard like, okay, 99, 100, start over.
Yes, and that's why I think it's such a nice. I love this quote about how your successes, they aren't made on the podium. They aren't
Yes.
made when you're on TV. Your successes are made in the middle of the night when you're by yourself, doing the work, doing the shadow work on your own, where nobody sees it.
Yes.
That's when it's win. That's when it's won. That's
Yes.
when you're winning.
Yeah.
And then the results is just like a positive side product, basically, that people think, "Oh, how'd you do that? That was so easy for you."
Yeah.
Because nobody knows what it takes.
That's-
I mean, that's how it is with a lot of things, obviously, in life, but especially here when people see on TV, they see you book something, but nobody ever tells you or tells them about the things that it took to get there. So yeah, of course, as you said, it takes a lot emotionally and mentally.
And mentally, and you need to prepare physically because the hours of work, the lack of sleep.
Yeah.
And
you got to maintain a certain posture. Sometimes you might have to get into a character who's a certain way, and to do that, yeah, I think it's important. I'm not saying necessarily you have to. And everyone has different ways of doing that. For me, I have to go to the gym every day and work out as much for my mental health as for my physical health, because it's a way for me to like anchor myself and just empty myself out and kind of like get everything out and be ready for the next day. But be it like going for a walk, do some light cardio, just something. I think is very good for you.
Then they continue and move forward.
Yes,
most definitely.
absolutely.
Most definitely. Well, people, thank you for being with us, learning about Mr. Bjorn Backman. But we'll be right back with more of his story here in Beeline to Passports on GKI Radio. We are back. We are back from commercial break. Great music. You're listening GKI Radio, and this is your show, Beeline to Passports. My name is Joe Batista. I'm your host, and we are on the sixth season of this show. And we open this sixth season with this gentleman beside me, and he came straight from Norway, and he jumped on Santa Claus uh, transportation.
That's right. Came on
And
my sled and my reindeers. That's how I got here.
you see,
Yeah.
you see, and paid by Disney.
That's right. Best of both worlds. Magical.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, tell us your social media and your IMDb that people can follow you, and also they can see the project that you have been working.
Sure, absolutely. I would love to connect with people and other creatives. I mean, yes, I do have my IMDb, which is Bjorn Backman, basically my name, BJORN, BACKMAN. That's my IMDb. It's where you can find. I think that's what I am on everything. I think I'm mainly on there, and my Instagram is what I use the most, and Facebook, Bjorn Bachman. I think my personal Facebook is just Bjorn Bachman, and then I have a page which is Bjorn Bachman Actor, where I post more of my acting gigs. I feel like I post all of my acting stuff on both of my profiles for some reason, so I'm not really sure why I have to, but I was like, I guess it doesn't hurt to spread your reach, you know. So Facebook, yeah, Bjorn Bachman. Instagram, Bjorn Bachman Official. I think it is actually at Bjorn Bachman Official. That's also where I post all my projects. Whenever I'm on a gig, whenever I book something, I will share it there, and I will post about it. And in order to, and I like to do that because I feel like it's a nice way to not just share with other people, but also to keep yourself accountable in a way, because I feel like I'm posting something about a new project, and it's like, okay, well, now that someone else is aware of it, it gives me more reason to like deliver on it in a way.
Correct.
I'm like keeping yourself accountable in
Yes,
a way.
yes.
But yeah, my IMDb, of course, is also where you'll see all my past projects, current projects, and upcoming projects as an actor. And I think that's like, I used to have a website, but I think I took it down because I was like, oh, this is too much work. I'm gonna keep up with it.
Yeah,
So-
you need to book more. Then you can have a social media manager.
Yeah.
Then that person
At
is
some
in
point,
charge.
that would be great. Yeah.
Yes.
Make those big bucks and those big roles, then I'll pay somebody to manage all that. That would be that's the goal, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But Bjorn, my pleasure having you here in our show, learning about your story and learning about your career that basically they started and continue shine in this industry. Then basically is hard, but everybody could have the opportunity to make it.
Absolutely. And if not acting, then whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, wanting to achieve, dreaming of, or think you can't do, let me tell you, if a small country boy from a rural town in the middle of Norway could do it, who failed and dropped out of high school and didn't really have any goals or dreams, then you can definitely do it. So don't stop, don't quit, pursue your dreams. Anything's possible if you put your mind to it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. People, thank you for being with us in another Beeline to Passports. And remember, be a leader, rock the world, inspires others with your emotions in control. Good night.